This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, whatever time it is with you and wherever you are. Thank you for downloading this SmackDown review as part of the WWE podcast. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to have you listening along. So we are one day before the return of Saturday night's main event, and the rumour is that there's a big title switch on the cards. So these are my thoughts on the card and the possible results. So we've got Cody versus KO. Don't think that this is the big title switch, surely not. I think we get a brutal match, but Cody wins. I also think that Randy gets involved somehow to help Cody and to beat down KO. What Liv versus Io, I think this could be it. This could be the switch. I think we get a decent match, possible interference from Rhea, leading to an Io win. And dare I say, the cash-in from Tiffany. We've then got Gunther versus Damien versus Finn Balor. This could also be it. See me hedging my bets. We could get Damien winning. Don't think Finn has a chance. So that doesn't seem to match the sort of current trajectory of the Judgment Day. But I might be way out there. We've got Sami versus Drew. I think there's probably going to be some shenanigans afoot here. I don't think we're going to get a cut and dry match. I think there'll be some input from somebody somewhere, maybe the OG Bloodline. Possibly we could see The Rock, or more likely I think he's been kept on ice until the new Netflix era in January. But I definitely think that one's not cut and dry. And obviously there'll be one more match, which is the US title match, which... we don't know who the competitors will be in that yet, so I'll do that as we go. I'm really loving the retro-ness, if that's a word, of Saturday night's main event. I'm really looking forward to watching it. And for everyone in the UK, and I assume the whole of Europe, it's been confirmed now that it will be available on WWE's YouTube channel for us to watch, which is fantastic news. So let's get to our main event and the reason you're here, which is to review the episode of SmackDown that came to us tonight from Hartford, Connecticut. So first up, we see the semi-finalists for the US Women's title arriving, and the new Bloodline, which gives us the match tonight between LA Knight and Solo. We see Cody, and Cole tells us that he will moderate the final word between him and KO later on this evening. Our first live action tonight, we get Jimmy Uso's music hit, and he comes out complete with a crutch. We get a reminder of Jimmy's injury from Survivor Series, which, as I said at the time when it got reported in slow-mo, looks like it really hurt. The crowd are yeeting, and Jimmy says that's the wrong twin, by the way. He's joking, obviously. He says that War Games was lit. It didn't get Big Jim, but it did get his big toe. He says to him, War Games meant everything because it's family, and although they may fight and not like each other a lot, they won. And he says, what's next now that they've won? And he says, since he was tiny, he's seen his family entertain the fans for years. He said he's proud of Roman, he's proud of Jay, he says he's even proud of Solo. He says he doesn't like what he's doing, but he's proud of him. He asks himself what is next for him, and he says he doesn't know, but he wants the fans to ride with Big Jim. He might win the Rumble or the US title, or why not even the Undisputed title. He says it's going to be a big year for him. And as he does a yeet, and as he's about to leave the ring, Drew shows up and claymores him, and then continues to beat Jimmy down. We get officials and Nick Aldis come out to the ring and break things up. And as Drew walks away, Nick is giving him what for, and Drew is just smiling like a nutter. So I guess that maybe answers Jimmy's question of what's next. And once he's medically cleared, maybe we'll get a Jimmy-Drew feud, which is fine, I guess. But I don't think the new bloodline are done with the OG bloodline. So Jimmy might well get pulled back into all that before he can properly move on. An interesting opening segment with some different people and definitely something different to kick off the show tonight, which was very enjoyable. So we now go backstage and we see Tiffany warming up. We get Nia and Candice there. And Nia says she has got every faith that Tiffy will win tonight and then go to main event and become the first ever women's US title holder. She says that then she won't need the briefcase at all and she won't need to revert to cheap tactics to win the title. This Tiffy looks far from certain. And Nia tells her that they will be watching tonight. So I'm thinking this is fodder for the setup for the cash-in. Reminding us again that Tiffany has the briefcase. Like I said in my predictions before, I am thinking that this happens soon and the signs seem to be pointing in that direction. Nick is still giving Drew a telling off and Drew doesn't seem to be listening at all. As he's doing this, he bumps into Bianca and Naomi, who want an update on the situation with Jade. Nick says he doesn't know anything yet, but the investigation is ongoing. He tells Bianca that with Jade's injury in mind, he thinks she may need to relinquish the tag team titles. Naomi says no way, and she could step in to tag with Bianca. Nick says he will go and run it up the flagpole, which is literally the most yucky and corporate thing I've ever heard him say. And he tells them that if they do this, they need to be fighting champions and they need to be ready to defend the titles next week. Okay, so guys, I'm thinking that Naomi was very quick to offer herself up and basically be awarded a championship just like that. Do we think there's any chance that it was her that attacked Jade to orchestrate this situation? Well, I honestly didn't think she had it in her, but maybe. Or maybe she is just being a good friend and wants to help out, but no one is that selfless in the WWE world, are they? I think this puts Naomi as the number one suspect right now, which is pretty cool. And if it is her, it will give her one hell of a boost. So we now go to the first in-ring action of the night, and it's the first of the semi-finals for the Women's US title, which is Tiffy versus Michin. Tiffy, as always, gets an amazing pop. She's pretty well over for a heel. And Michin, again, her pop seems to be building every week, so she gets a decent response too. Cole and Corey are talking up the women's division while we wait for the start. And we kick off the match with a massive Tiffy time chant. Tiffy has the upper hand at first, but takes too much time bragging and playing up to the crowd. And Michin manages to get into the match with some offense, chucking Tiffy out of the ring, follows up with a kick through the ropes, but Tiffy blocks and delivers an almighty kick to Michin on the apron as we go for a break. As we get back, we have Tiffy still in charge, but Michin manages to roll out of the way, causing Tiffy to kick the apron. Michin then hits two different DDTs on Tiffany, forcing her to kick out of a pretty close 2 count. And Michin goes to the second rope and attempts the missile drop kick, but misses. Tiffany hits the Alabama slam and again gets the 2 count. Michin kicks out, goes for a sleeper hold, but it's broken up in the corner. Tiffany, with Michin on her shoulders, gets a rolling senton in mind of setting Michin up for the prettiest moonsault, which Tiffany hits, but not fully, and as you'd expect. Michin then gets up, hits Eat the Feet, and gets a cover for the 3 count and the win. So actually it was quite a quick, short match, and I certainly didn't see that coming. The crowd were certainly firmly behind Tiffany. It was a good match. So we'll have to see who Michin will face. My guess at this point is that it'll be Chelsea Green, and I think this is more groundwork for the cash-in too. It's definitely Tiffy time. The crowd are absolutely gagging for it. So I just think it's only a matter of time before this happens, which will be brilliant. We now get a reminder of what went down last week with the Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns and DIY with the surprise title change. And that leads straight into a vignette from DIY, who have clearly gone full heel before they even speak, as the vignette is in black and white. And we've got Johnny talking to the camera, Ciampa pacing around in the background, and Johnny says this goes back to when they were screwed in his home city. He says he told the world that he would right the wrong. And then he says they were screwed by the Motor City Machine Guns, jumping the line for the title picture. And Ciampa says while everyone else was looking left, they went right, and now they are the champions. So as if there was any doubt, it definitely looks like the whole thing, and who knows how many weeks they were working on this for, but it looks like the whole thing was premeditated, which is actually genius. And so I think this title run should be a lot of fun with DIY as heel champions, and the tag team divisions have certainly had a boost since the arrival of the Motor City Machine Guns, so this picture is now pretty exciting. We then get another reminder, this time of last week, and the New Bloodline just generally being in a really bad mood, beating everyone up. And then what Solo said about him still being the tribal chief and having the Ula Fala. And now we get to hear Roman's response. So this is pre-taped. He's with Heyman, and he says that it has been... it's been a rough year. He remembers that not long ago they ran everything and then it all fell apart. He lost his title, he lost his wise man, and he lost the bloodline, but most important, he lost his Ula Fala. He says that 4 years ago, Solo wasn't even here, and Roman didn't take the Ula Fala. He was crowned by the elders, so his dad and uncle, etc. And we get a reminder shot of that. And then he says that is all that matters to him. He says the 6th of January isn't about Netflix, it's about tribal conflict. And he asks Solo, let's leave the tribes on the sidelines. And on January the 6th, he takes back his bloodline, his Ula Fala, and his respect, and the whole world will acknowledge him. I really love this. I hope it happens. Solo versus Roman on the first Raw on Netflix for the Tribal Chiefdom. Yes, please. What a match that could be, and I guess we'll have to watch this space for it to be made official. Will the tribes stay on the sidelines? That seems unlikely and very out of character for, to be honest, both bloodlines. How will the CM Punk favour play into this? Can we trust Heyman? Interesting. So I'm really pleased that is where this is going, and I'm sure that will be confirmed in no time. So we then go backstage, and Nick Aldis, I haven't said it this week, or Oblivion the Gladiator as we know him, is getting his ear chewed off by Santos Escobar, telling him he has figured him out, and he now knows that he likes to play favourites. He said Nick needs to sort it out. So many people are getting attacked backstage. Maybe they are better off without Nick, and they should call Adam Pearce to go to Raw. So I think we are really working this transfer window angle, and that's fine. I think, to be fair, it could be quite interesting to have the rosters really shook up, and I'm sure that's what Netflix have asked for, to ensure that obviously they're getting their money's worth from this absolutely humongous contract that's been signed. I mean, imagine if Cody switched brands, for example, and Gunther came over, or maybe Judgment Day. And the possibilities are really, really fun. So I think the next few weeks should be really interesting. And do you know what? It certainly keeps December more fun, because typically December is quite a fallow period for WWE. We don't really have much happening. So I think with the Saturday night's main event, plus this transfer window stuff, they've really souped up the product for December. Carmelo Hayes then walks past, saying all this hype with him having a mystery opponent, just for Melo to beat whoever it is really easy. Nick says, okay, let's see. No idea who this is, but the match is up next. So we get Carmelo making his entrance to plenty of boos as usual. And then we get the music of the opponent hit, and it's Braun Strowman. Melo literally poops himself. He does not look happy with that opponent, and let's be honest, why would he? Cole tells us that Strowman is the first confirmed transfer in the transfer window, so now he's officially on SmackDown. As this match gets started, Carmelo, to his credit, is trying to make an impact, but Strowman is in charge until Melo gets some nice moves in, taking Strowman down, trying to take his legs out. But as Melo goes up top to hit a move, he is caught in the middle of the air by Strowman, who hits a running power slam, and it's all over as Strowman gets the win pretty quickly. So that was short and sweet. Melo beaten very convincingly and quickly. I guess this is Nick Aldis trying to put him in firmly in his place. I doubt it's worked. Melo's ego is absolutely huge. So I'm thinking maybe this is the start of a program between these two, because I'm sure Melo will complain that he didn't know who was coming, blah, 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 blah. So let's see how that works out. I don't mind. I think that'll be quite a nice program. Now backstage with LA Knight, Byron asks him how concerned he is to face Solo. LA Knight says that he will make sure he handles his business. He says that he has always only handled his business and doesn't care about Solo or Roman or the Ula fella. He only wants the title, and tonight he will kick Solo's fat ass. Which is brilliant. It's really good. Gotta love LA Knight's confidence. That match is up next. First out, we have Solo with his massively depleted bloodline. As normal, they are quite heavily booed, especially when they get to the ring and put the ones up. Cole and Corey continue talking about the Ilifala and how Solo took it, and it wasn't awarded to him as it was to Roman. Solo has the mic and tells Hartford to acknowledge him, but as usual, he just gets booed as the crowd chants for the OTC. Sorry. He then goes to talk to Roman, presumably to answer his challenge from earlier, but is interrupted by LA Knight coming to the ring. We get underway. The guys start trading blows in the middle of the ring, but Solo quickly takes over, delivering several headbutts to Knight. Knight hangs up Solo on the middle rope and then chucks him over the top, following him to the outside, where Solo takes back over, slamming Knight's head off the announce desk. More headbutts from Solo on Knight as they continue outside. Knight with a counter drives Solo into the steps as he beats down on him, tossing him back into the ring. Again, a reversal from Solo as he hits a Samoan drop, and Solo is back on top. Knight manages to rally, and once again, Solo is sent outside, which is questionable why Solo kept getting sent outside, considering he had his two lackeys on the outside to help him. But anyway, Solo hits spinning Solo onto the announce table as we go for a break, and as we come back, Solo is taking the mick out of Roman, trying to go for a Superman punch, but that's countered into a suplex from Knight. Now back to the middle of the ring, trading blows. Knight takes out Solo with a flying clothesline and has Solo in the corner, hitting a running knee. Knight tries for the BFT, but Solo rolls out the ring. Knight takes out the other members of the bloodline. And as Fatu tries to attack, Solo gets back to the ring. Knight hits side effect and an elbow off the top, covering Solo for a 2 count. At that point, I thought that was nearly it. It really had me believing that the match was almost over then. From nowhere, behind Knight, we get Fatu resurrected like horror movie bad guy type resurrection. As he comes up and he grabs Knight from behind, this causes the DQ. Ref calls for the bell. Fatu has Knight outside the ring and continues the beatdown. And now the New Bloodline are in the ring. They're all beating down on Knight. And out come Apollo and Andrade to make the save. But they're actually pretty useless. And the Bloodline take them out pretty quick. And now we've got the Bloodline standing victorious in the ring. Cole saying that it looks like Solo is ready for tribal combat. But can he do it without his Bloodline? That was me saying that, not Cole, by the way. I'm not sure he can. This was great furtherance of the Bloodline Tribal Chief feud. I hope that they haven't taken Knight's title away, though, just to make him a pawn in all this. That would be such a waste, as he remains absolutely on fire with the crowd. I had hoped that he was going to be moving up to fight for one of the main titles, so I really hope he doesn't get too bogged down with this. And I think it's safe to say that the Tribal Chief War is on for the 6th of January, so that's cool. And I also think that WWE have given the game away a bit, as the advertising they're using for the first night on Netflix features The Rock. So I think it's pretty safe to say that The Rock will have something to do with whatever happens in this match. Unless we've been sold a pup again. We now have Braun backstage. He walks past Pretty Deadly, who we haven't seen for ages. And they say they want Braun to be the monster in Pretty Deadly the musical. He throws the script back at them, which is a relief. Despite me absolutely loving Pretty Deadly, I don't think I want to see Braun in any kind of comedy or gimmick role here. I think just him as big SOB, etc., is a good role for him rather than any of the comedy roles he's maybe held in the past. He's then welcomed back to SmackDown by Byron, but is interrupted by A-Town Down Under. Grayson Waller asks Braun to be on the Grayson Waller Effect next week, and Strowman says he will see them next week. He doesn't say he will be on it, he just says he will see them. So could this be another setup for the next feud? That's the normal purpose of the Grayson Waller show. But if that's the case, where does Mello fit in? I'm guessing that Mello will put in an appearance at some time during the show next week to continue building that feud. We now get Bayley making her way to the ring for the next semi-final of the Women's US title match. And Chelsea comes out with Piper. Chelsea, I noticed, and I wouldn't normally comment on what they're wearing, but it looks like she's wearing half of a wedding dress, which is a bit weird. As we get started, Bayley is straight into a cover, gets a 2 count. Chelsea returns the favour, and we get a series of quick cover attempts from both ladies. Chelsea chops it off and whips Bayley into the corner, who moves out of the way and hits a couple of arm drags, followed by a cover for another 2 count. Piper making her presence felt and getting involved. Getting involved on the outside, helping Chelsea get ahead with another close cover as we go for the break. This match didn't really get started yet. It's just been a bit of back and forth and feeling each other out. As we come back to it, Chelsea is in charge and the crowd are a bit quiet. We get a split screen with a trailer for the new Lion King movie, which takes away from it a bit, and I think it's a bit rude. On the other side, we've got Chelsea with Bayley in a headlock. She fights out as they trade blows on the apron. Bayley now has Chelsea outside and delivers a suplex onto the floor. Both women are back into the ring, and Bayley hits a back suplex for a super close 2 count. She then goes up top but is intercepted by Chelsea, who hits a running knee. Bayley with a flip smashes Chelsea into the corner and manages to get another 2 count. Bayley looks for Bayley to belly but is countered. Green hits Rough Rider and for another 2 count cover. Bayley now going up top, but Piper drags Green out of the way and they end up on the outside. Chelsea chucks Bayley over the barricade as the official is counting. It looks like we might get close to 10, but Bayley makes it back only to be met with a kick followed by an unpretty for her, getting Chelsea the victory. And so we have Chelsea versus Michin for the US title at main event. So this will be the final prediction for tomorrow night. It's difficult as there are strong arguments on both sides for either of these women to be the inaugural US champ, and I think both would certainly deserve it. I think it'll be a great match whatever happens, but I do think Chelsea is going to squeak it, but honestly it could go either way. As for the Bayley-Chelsea match we just saw, despite it taking what felt like forever to get going, in the end it was a good match. These two worked well together, and Piper on the outside is always a fun extra element. Question is now, I guess, what next for Bayley? Could she be headed to Raw for some new competition? Possibly. We then get a reply to DIY in the form of a promo from the Motor City Machine Guns, saying that they knew them coming in and winning the titles would rub people up the wrong way, but they are shocked that Johnny turned on them. One super kick and 18 years of friendship is gone. They say that next week they will fight, and Johnny will know who the teacher and who the student is. So again, nice fun build, keeping the tag team division nice and strong, and let's see what the outcome of that match is next week. We haven't been told whether it's going to be singles, as in like teammate against teammate, or if it is going to be for the tag team titles. I shouldn't think so. We don't seem to do that immediate rematch thing anymore. But still, definitely a fun program to keep watching. So after Sign Watch, which I'm finding just the biggest snooze fest in the world, and watching the blooming show, I can look for the signs myself. I don't need them to be pointed out by the comms team, but that's probably just me being a grumpy old lady. So after Sign Watch, we have a promo from Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, very dark. I don't know about you guys, but I thought he definitely was channeling his inner Freddy Krueger tonight. That's certainly what it reminded me of. He says that the time for the weak and feeble is past, and the LA Knight was just the beginning. Still loving this new version of him, really dark and so much more interesting than some of the past versions we've had. I'm looking forward to seeing what next year holds for Shinsuke. So backstage, we see Tiffany looking very sorry for herself, and she is approached by Nia, who tells her not to worry, that these things happen and that not everyone is meant to be a singles champ like her. Ouch. That was a massive dig and possibly another clue for an imminent cash-in. Candice appears then, telling them both that she has got her and Nia a title match for the tag titles next week. And as Nia leaves, Candice tells Tiffany maybe singles wrestling isn't your thing. We are left with a shot of Tiffy staring down at the Money in the Bank briefcase. Seriously. I don't know how many more signposts, flags, and messages we can get. This must be happening soon. I really think that we are going to get a Tiffy cash-in tomorrow night on the winner of Liv EO. I think it'll be successful, potentially. And then we're going to get, obviously, probably Tiffy moving brands, I guess. Or maybe there'll be some kind of transfer window shenanigans. Or on the other hand, and here's a thought, does Tiffy cash in tomorrow night and it's not successful, leaving her to go back again to Candice and Nia with her tail between her legs, furthering the resentment between Nia, Tiffy and Candice. And then once the briefcase is out of the picture, obviously Tiffy has no real reason to hang around with Nia anymore. And will we start a feud between Nia and Tiffy, and does she win the title that way? Just a thought. Next up, we have the final word on the KO and Cody match, and Cole is in the ring and brings out Cody, first of all, looking very serious. Then Cole goes to bring out KO. He gets massive boos, but he doesn't appear. Cody says that KO isn't here, but the wonderful crowd is. Cole jokes that at least now they don't need to go back to the car park and do the interview. Cole says that Triple H has presented Cody with something he can use at main event tomorrow. We're just about to find out what that all means when he's interrupted by KO, who once again is in his car. And he says, why doesn't Cole ask Cody why he is okay, using all his friends to finish his stupid story and stab them all in the back by teaming with Roman. He says he's not only a bad friend, but he's also a bad son and a brother. And the truth is that he is much more interesting as Stardust, and KO is wearing a Stardust t-shirt, which again is just a beautiful touch, really funny. Cody says he won't wait for more KO one-liners, and instead he's going to go out and find him. So as he walks through the backstage area, he is blindsided by KO, and they start to fight. And it ends up back in the ring, where again, for like the second or third time tonight, all the officials and security people come out, pull them apart, and as we go off air, they've got KO being dragged away, having hit Cody in the face with the belt. So the laws of wrestling tell us that obviously KO has got the upper hand on the Go Home show, so massively unlikely that he gets any kind of positive result tomorrow at main event, and hoping we'll see at least Randy tomorrow night during this match. That would be great. So guys, I thought this was a much better show this week, so let's just put, I didn't like last week's show, as I said, but it may well have just been me. This show was much better, plenty of setup for main event, but not only that, going forward to next week's show and the Netflix launch. I thought it was all really enjoyable and really, really good storytelling, really good wrestling. So once again, top work from WWE. So we shall watch with interest Saturday night's main event. I'm sure we'll have a lot to say about that throughout the week via match shows and also mailbag. We can all have our say there. So that just about does it for this week. As always, thank you for having me in your ears, and until next time, remember, be kind.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.